If you are looking to make some non-toxic, healthier kitchen swaps, but you don't want to spend a lot of money, this video is for you. I'm going to take you to the thrift store and I'm going to show you what I do when I'm looking to replace certain things in my home. So I'm going to take you to show you pots and pans, cookware, bakeware, utensils, water bottles, also appliances, dishes, all the things. I have very specific criteria when I'm looking for healthier things, non-toxic things. And I know a lot of us, we don't just want to throw out our whole kitchen and then have to rebuy everything. So I think the thrift store is a great option because you can find some absolute gems there. People donate these gems all the time and I find them and you can find them. I did also want to just say one thing about this because sometimes I'll get messages from some of you saying, well, I checked the thrift store and I didn't find anything. And that does happen. I just keep a list on my phone. I have this running list of things that I need to replace. I'm still kind of on the lookout for a few things. And then every time I go to the thrift store, I will look around to see if I can find it. I don't find something every time, but most of the time I eventually work my way through the list and I eventually find these items. So just keep that list on your phone. And then that way, when you go to the store, just keep your eyes open and you will eventually find it. It's not an instant gratification kind of a thing, but you will get it. So let's head over there and I'm going to show you what I do. Rule number one of thrifting, always make sure you have donations before you head in. One of the things that I recently replaced, and it was something I hadn't been thinking about, was my mixing bowls. I highly recommend looking at the thrift store for stainless steel mixing bowls. They're light, they're sturdy. I found this one from the Sunbeam brand, made in the US. It said that at the bottom. I actually wish I had bought it, but I left it for someone else. I mentioned looking for made in the US because when you're getting metal from other countries, you really don't know what the metal is. You don't know what it's made from or what it contains. Let me start with pots and pans because I feel like that's what you guys ask me a lot about. And already, oh, I see one. Revereware, made in, this says Riverside, California. So this, perfect. This is made in the US. Let's see what else we've got here. Barberware, this is probably old, made in the US, if you can see that. Already I found two kind of saucepans here. There's another one. There's another little stainless steel made in the US pot. This one is Calphalon. And let me show you. So those are the stainless steel, but then we've got a lot of these non-stick ones. They're all scratched. You do not want any of these, okay? Look at that. This one's even worse. I don't know why they put these out. There's a horrifying amount of non-stick pans here, but let's just look around because I see some really good stainless steel ones too. So it's not always possible to find things made in the US at the thrift store. So in that case, I default to looking for known brands, things like All Clad, Calphalon, KitchenAid. These brands, some of them are made in China these days, but they do have manufacturing standards and testing, so I trust them more than I would a no-name brand metal item. Also, when you're looking for cast iron, you will find a lot of it at the thrift store, and you can tell cast iron because it'll typically be dark gray or black. The surface will kind of have this like rough textured finish. And if it's rusty, don't worry. You can restore it. So don't worry about rust. Just make sure it's not cracked or warped. And obviously, a foolproof way to know if it's cast iron, of course, it will be really heavy. You want to look for cast iron. You want to look for stainless steel. That's my rule when it comes to pots and pans in the thrift store. That is the only thing that I feel good about buying. I found this Tefal stainless steel. It's kind of stained, though. Maybe pretty cleaned. $11.99. I might think about this. I brought it home. It came perfectly clean. I got it from my mom because she got rid of all her nonstick cookware and she needs something. So this is a scratched nonstick pot. So obviously we don't want that. I did find this. This is another Revereware, if you can believe it. But this is perfect because this is a stainless steel pot. Coming up on bakeware, there was a lot of it at the thrift store, but this stuff is not good. As you can see, it's all made from aluminum and it has a non-stick coating. If you can find anything that is marked as anodized aluminum, I'm okay with buying that. I do have some cake pans now that are made from this, but of course, my favorite thing to bake with is always glass. I always look for vintage Pyrex. You can tell this by the capitalized logo. If it's capital, then it's the old borosilicate glass, whereas the new glass is the soda lime glass. Unfortunately, Corningware sold Pyrex in the late 90s, and they just don't use the good stuff. I didn't find any today, but I actually didn't really look at everything. I did find an OXO pie plate. That is borosilicate. And then I also found a Fire King pie plate, which is anchor hocking. This is anchor hocking, which is great. I don't know what brand this is, but it's so cute. Okay, let's talk about these. This is lead. I've tested it before. These are all the Corningware. If you are using dishes and it has lead on the outside, I don't recommend using them at all for food because you will touch it. It will get into your food. It's just not worth the lead exposure. If you do want to test your vintage dishes, however, I do have a lead testing kit I recommend. I'll link it below. It's just from Amazon and it works really well. This is all the plastic. I try to stay away from plastic in my kitchen. The problem with plastic is it's not stable. So all of the added man-made chemicals will be leaching into your food, especially if it's gone through the dishwasher, it's damaged, it smells plasticky, or if it's stained. Okay, let's move on to these water bottles. I always find really good water bottles here. I found a stainless steel one, a couple of those. I found glass ones, which I really love. Stainless steel one. Another stainless steel. Oh, can I see?
We should get one maybe.
And then we found these Awelas, which is a good brand. These are stainless steel. We actually found 2 of them, so I think we're gonna get them both.
Hello.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, I think we'll just get that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks because I love pink.
So for glasses, I mean, the main thing is you can look at brands. Glass is fairly safe. I just stay away from anything that's like painted. So I wouldn't get like this, you know, especially around the rim. You don't want painted, but otherwise this stuff looks good. Yeah, I need to talk to you about utensils. These are all pretty terrible. I do spot a couple good ones though. When I'm buying utensils at the thrift store, I always look for the stainless steel ones. Yeah, so for utensils, you really just don't want anything plastic, especially not the black nylon plastic. But they did have a lot of stainless steel, I noticed, which is great. Haven't seen any wood, but I think wood might be over here. So that's another thing to be on the lookout in the thrift store. I found some good wood stuff here. Ooh, we got lots of wood stuff. Actually, some bamboo, teak. When I'm buying thrifted utensils, I look for maple, teak, bamboo, and I look for uncoated, not shiny wood. And then cutting boards as well. I try to look for cutting boards that, of course, are wood. I wouldn't buy a plastic one. And again, just not damaged and not coated. You know, you definitely don't want anything shiny when you're touching the wood on your food. I was so happy to find this pepper grinder. You could put salt in here as well. But guess what? It is all wood and stainless steel, and it was made in Pennsylvania, so I'm guessing it's kind of old. A lot of you are always looking for these without plastic. This is actually made in the US too. Surprised. Let's talk about dishes. When I'm at the thrift store and I'm looking for dishes, I prioritize name brand dishes. I flip them all over, and the ones I recognize are the ones that I will buy. I was actually quite surprised to see I found 2 really nice china sets, which is not very common to see at the thrift store, so I thought that was kind of cool. With the dishes, I also try to avoid printed dishes or very colorful ones even, because honestly, you just never know how old thrifted dishes are. You can lead test them, you know, that's something that I've done, but you really just want to be sure. And I also avoid dishes that are chipped. I mentioned in a previous video that I did that dishes made since the mid-70s are required to be lead-free. But that lead-free designation doesn't mean that no lead was used. All that it means is that at the time of manufacture, no lead was leaking out. But when things chip, it's hard to know if that's still the case. So I just avoid all chipped items. If you can find glass dishes, I didn't find any of that. That's also great. I also found some stoneware, as you can see. That is great. So just look around. But I never have a problem finding dishes, and I always find really good brands. Made in the US. Might need to be lead tested. I didn't see any this time, but if you ever see any mason jars at the thrift store, these are fantastic. These are such a low cost option for food storage, and it's really great to use these obviously instead of plastic containers. I cannot find any waffle irons or these little countertop griddles that are not non-stick, not even at the thrift store, let alone online. But you know, I wish that they made cast iron ones. If you're going to buy anything like this, I say just make sure you don't see any visible scratches. I personally only use my waffle iron maybe once a month, so I'm somewhat okay with using the non-stick surface. Mine is coated in ceramic. Just, you know, make sure to check for scratches. And then let's move on to coffee. These are just lots of coffee pots that I saw here. And what I'm going to say about them is these are all plastic. Unfortunately, you know, they look metal, they look glass, but the entire reservoir is plastic and you don't want to buy these. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this video helped to show you what you can look for when you're at the thrift store, when you're out and about, maybe even on Facebook Marketplace. I just wanted to show you the things that I look for when I'm looking for healthier swaps and safer materials. You just need to know a few basic things of what you're looking for, and then you have a whole world of options to you. And you can kind of get rid of all the things that are bringing our health down, that are dragging our family's health down, and just get those out of our house and out of our kitchen. I hope you enjoyed being at the thrift store with me. If you want to keep watching, I'm going to link a whole playlist for you. And don't forget, if you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you here. Click on that button here.